Hey guys, John Barrett with Level Up Your Leadership, where I'm going to share with you visual leadership lessons to help you be more successful in all that you do. Today I want to talk to you about how to successfully fail. Right? Nobody really teaches us how to fail and how to do it good, how to do it properly. I don't even know if you've ever thought about this, that there's actually a successful way to fail. And it sounds a little counterintuitive, like, well, how do I successfully fail? Isn't failure bad and success is good, and they're kind of in contrast to each other? Well, no, in reality, failure is something that comes with success. It is actually a part of it. In fact, I always say this, road to success, if this was a road and here it is, the road to success is always paved with failure. I mean, that's what makes the road to success. It's literally paved with failure. And the more you understand that, the more you embrace it, the more you don't try to hide, fight, or avoid failure in your life, and the more you understand that it's just part of what the road to success is paved with, then all of a sudden now it becomes very different. All of a sudden now it's not a thing to be feared, ignored, or avoiding of, or fighting for, or whatever it is, but it's something that you embrace. Not that you want failure. Nobody wants that. Nobody sets out to be a failure. But at the same time, when it happens, and it will happen, by the way, many, many times over in your life, you've got to understand how to recover from it and how to turn it into success. And that's an art. That does not come naturally. People don't talk about that. My father-in-law was a pilot many years ago, and I remember we were sitting down one time just talking and just having some coffee, and I remember him saying, he said, you know, John, that there is a successful way to crash an airplane. And I thought, wow. He said, yeah, we actually in school, in our flight school, in our training, you have to know how to successfully crash. You have to know how to properly go into a crash. There's a right way to do it, to make the best of the opportunity and make the best of the situation. And he said that what makes the difference between really good pilots and that is their understanding of how to do that in a high tense situation. And I remember thinking about that and I thought, what a great point. What a great life lesson for all of us, and in leadership, a huge lesson, that we have to learn how to successfully fail. What are you doing to train yourself on how to successfully fail and how to fall and how to get better? Years ago, I was reading a Harvard medical study, and they were talking about how to literally successfully fall. Like when you literally fall over. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. And I remember reading about this thinking, that's fascinating, right? I never even thought about that when you physically fall and you trip or you lose your balance or whatever the case is, there is a right way to fall and there's a wrong way to fall. And I thought, wow, this is so fascinating, right? So I share all this because I think it's important for us to know, how do we fail? How do we turn failure into success? This is something that everybody has heard. This isn't anything new, what I'm sharing with you, but not everybody puts it into practice. They don't understand the principles of failure and how to do it. One of the things that I would encourage you to do, based on that Harvard study, here's what I thought was fascinating. That when you fall, when a person is here and they're walking and they're doing their thing, when you fall, one of the things that they advise for you to do is to not fall backward. Because when you fall backward, what happens? Your feet, your hands are in front of you, and when you fall and you hit the ground, bam, there's going to be bad news. Because your hands and all of your support are in front of you and you're falling back. That is the worst way to fall because you're going to hit your head, you're going to crash, you're going to do a lot of damage. They said that when you fall, they either want you to fall to the side or when you fall forward so that you can get your hands out, you can get your feet out in front of you, and that you can at least have some absorption to the impact that you've got. And I remember hearing about this Harvard study and talking about the successful way to kind of fail over here, the successful way to hit the ground versus this one. And I thought, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to learn how to fail forwardly, right? How do we fail forward and not fail backward? How do we do that? Most people, I would say, they're failing backward. And they hit their head, they get dazed and confused, they get all discouraged, they think all is lost, right? We give up on our hopes, on our dreams, on the project. We don't know what to do. We get clouded. We get stressed. We're hurt. We're offended. We're upset. We're depressed. A million different emotions come when we hit our head, so to speak, when failure comes. But if we will learn how to fail forward and actually move it towards success, if we actually, every time we fail, that we learn how to fail forward, we're going to learn from our failure. We're going to get better as a result. Is it going to hurt? Yeah, failure is no fun. You're going to take some hits. It's going to hurt. It's going to be hard. You're going to have times where you think, oh my gosh, I'm so discouraged right now and that. It's going to happen, guys. We all face it. I've faced it a million times. You've faced it a million times, and we'll face it a million more. But if we can learn how to move forward in our failure, how do we do that? Well, I think a few thoughts that you've got to do is when you fail forward, fail curiously. What I mean by that is be curious about what you can learn from the failure, right? What can I learn from this? Now, I'm going to kind of switch something on you. Most people, when they fail, they say, why did I fail? And that's a good question, right? I'll label this as it's a good question. Why did you fall? Why did you fail? It's a good question, and you need to answer it. It's important. But there is a great question that is even better at times, and it's what I call the what question. And what do I mean by that is this. Instead of just saying, why did I do that? Why did that happen? Begin to say, what do I do with what happened? When you ask that question, what do I do with what just happened? Then that's going to lead to much more insight on what you can do moving forward. Many people are stuck right here. Just why? Why did that happen? Why did it have to be that way? Why did life turn out that way? Why did the project fail? Why did this take place? And they're trying to diagnose it, but really the why question can be a trap. You can get stuck right there and just kind of get discouraged. Instead of actually saying, okay, how do I learn from it? You just get stuck with why? Why did it have to happen? Why is this the case? I'm so frustrated we lost that client. Why? It's so hard now and trying to recover, whatever it is. But if you'll say, right here, what do I do with what has happened? How do I leverage this? How do I turn failure into an opportunity and let it pave the way for success? What can I do to take this and grow and learn from it? What can I do to put it forward? Why deals with the past. What now can you do deals with the future. So why did this happen deals with your past, which is good. You need to know why. But if you want to get great and really move this forward, then you have to say, what do I do with what happened? And if you'll get your eyes there and your mind there and you'll get your focus there on what do I do? How do I move forward and fall forward and move through the path so I can get to success? How can I take that? What does it allow me to do? If you look back on your life, and I can say this about my life, I am not where I'm at today if it wasn't for some of the failures that I've had throughout my life. I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be where you're at today if some hard things didn't happen in your life. I promise you that. Doesn't mean that we like it. Doesn't mean that, we're glad that it happened, but we can look back on it now and say, you know what? It was because of that failure, but because I was able to move forward on it, I was able to see how that served my future success. Listen, little kids, they learn to walk by falling. Right? As a parent, I remember when my kids were really little and when they were learning to walk, I just wanted to go and keep them from falling, right? I didn't want them to get hurt. I didn't want them to go through that. But I had to learn very quickly that it was only through failing that they actually learn how to have the dexterity and learn how to have their balance and learn how to even be able to walk. And if I always tried to save them from failure, they would have never learned how to walk. So in your life, don't avoid failure. Don't hide from it. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't any of that stuff. Just embrace failure and say, you know what? What does this allow me to do? And I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to be curious. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to get better as a result. And I'm telling you, you will get on the path to greater success in your life, in your leadership, in your team, your organization. If you have a game plan for how you're going to successfully fail as an organization and you help your team understand that and you embrace it, guys, you're going to be unstoppable in what you do. All right? I hope this was helpful. Go to johnbarrettleadership.com to check out all my resources where you can learn how to get better, how to level up, how to be more successful in all that you do, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Reach out to us today so we can help take you and your team to the next level.